Deathstroke is a mercenary and occasional anti-hero. He has a fighting skill that is on par with Batman, and he is also a master with both guns and pretty much all hand-to-hand weapons, though generally he favours a large gun and a sword for fighting. He also has a healing factor, as a result of a government experiment to create super soldiers. Now technically the super soldier serum they gave him didn't actually give him his enhanced abilities.
Slade Wilson, Deathstroke, former military, subject of a failed medical experiment.
Failed, you say?
The experiment was a failure, because it wasn't actually the serum they gave him that gave him his enhanced abilities and healing factor. Instead, the serum just activated a dormant metagene in his genetics. Now, Deathstroke's full powers are enhanced senses, speed and strength, and as I said, a healing factor that can heal most wounds, though usually it can't regenerate a lost limb or a lost eye. And if you think he looks a lot like Deadpool, then you are not alone. The reason for the resemblance is because the Marvel character Deadpool was actually based on Deathstroke's character, who is of course from DC Comics. Now, Marvel's official explanation for this is that Deadpool is a tribute to Deathstroke, though most of us think that they just ripped off the character in an attempt to capture that part of the market. Hence why both characters are both mercenaries with healing factors, extremely similar costumes, and even more similar names. But one key difference between them is that Deathstroke only has one eye, which raises the question of how did he lose it? Well, there have actually been several different ways that he has lost that eye in various different comics and TV shows, and this video is going to go over them all. Comics. Let's start with the original way Deathstroke lost his eye. When Deathstroke came back home from a mission, he found his son had been attacked and had his throat slit. Now, he did manage to save his son's life, but his son was never able to speak again due to having his vocal cords severed. His mother was furious at Deathstroke as she views it as his fault, and she is sort of right since it was Deathstroke's enemies looking to kill Deathstroke, but since he wasn't home, they attacked his son instead. Now, that's the current comic book explanation for how it happened. However, way back when in the original comic, the attack was because a group wanted information about one of Deathstroke's clients, and they kidnapped his son to trade for said information. Deathstroke of course refused, as he is a professional, and decided to attack the kidnappers instead and take his son back, and in the ensuing fight, his son had his throat cut. Now, it varies in different comic continuities, but the important information is this. His son was attacked by Deathstroke's enemies because he is a mercenary, and as such he has a lot of enemies. And because of this attack, his son had his throat slit and was never able to talk again. And so Deathstroke's wife and mother of his son of course blames Deathstroke for this, and so she decides to shoot him. Now, he survives fine thanks to his healing abilities, but his eye is gone forever. Even his healing factor wasn't able to bring that back. Son of Batman. In this version of Deathstroke's character, he is a member of the League of Assassins, and was set to take over the League from Ra's al Ghul and marry his daughter, Talia al Ghul. That was until Ra's al Ghul discovered Batman, whom he considered to be the greatest warrior in the world, superior to Deathstroke in every way, and the perfect husband for his daughter, and heir to the League of Assassins. Of course, in reality, Batman never wanted to lead the League of Assassins, and only had a child with Talia al Ghul because he was drugged. And he didn't even know that his son existed until he was 10 years old and introduced to Batman.
Don't look so stunned, Father. I thought you'd be taller.
But nevertheless, Deathstroke felt betrayed by all of this, and he decided that if Ra's al Ghul wouldn't give him the League of Assassins, then he would simply take it. So he attacked the League and killed Ra's al Ghul. He then got into a duel with Damian Wayne, who is of course the son of Batman and the grandson of Ra's al Ghul. Now, unfortunately for Deathstroke, Damian is a much better fighter, and so he is able to pierce Deathstroke's eye with his sword. Which then leads to Deathstroke running away to tend to his wounds. And if you think the idea of a 10-year-old boy taking out a full-grown ninja master is ridiculous, then you should see their end fight in the movie, as Damian Wayne is way overpowered in this scene. Although I must say it is a very entertaining fight. Beware the Batman. In Beware the Batman, Deathstroke's history is changed yet again, and in this universe he once worked for the CIA along with Alfred Pennyworth, who in this universe was a secret agent before he became Bruce Wayne's butler.
Slade Wilson was my protege, on loan from the CIA for joint operations with MI6.
Now, Alfred felt that Deathstroke was abusing his authority, and so he put in a recommendation for him to be fired, and so Deathstroke was let go from the CIA. at which point Deathstroke decided to kill Alfred in revenge, though of course he fails. And years later, Deathstroke is hired by Anarchy and Two-Face to kill Batman, a job he relishes as he feels that Batman has replaced him as Alfred's protege, and wants to kill him in revenge anyway, and to make sure that Alfred knows he is Batman's superior. Now, there are a few confrontations between the two in the series, but the finale sees Deathstroke plant explosives in the Batcave, which is of course located under Wayne Manor. And Deathstroke forces Batman to surrender to him, or he will detonate all these explosives. But Batman comes up with another solution.
You forgot the third choice.
And the two get into a fight. Now, Batman's allies are able to dispose of most of the bombs while Batman and Deathstroke are fighting, but one of the bombs is accidentally set off by Deathstroke. He shoots at Batman, who then moves out of the way, and the bullet hits the bomb instead, detonating it. Now, Deathstroke survives the explosion, but his eye does not. Smallville. In this version of Deathstroke's character, he is an army general who is suspected of war crimes, though he was never actually charged for anything. And like his mainstream comic book character, he was subjected to experiments by the army that gave him an advanced healing factor. Now, when we meet him, he works for the government, creating a prison that can hold superpowered vigilantes. And during a confrontation with the League of Heroes, one of these facilities was blown up. Though thanks to his healing abilities, Deathstroke survives the explosion.
Let's just say the Reaper can swing his sickle at me, but I'm beyond Deathstroke now.
Though of course, he lost his eye. Arrow. In this version of the character, Deathstroke is stranded on the island with Oliver Queen, and he gets injected with the Mirakuru formula, which roughly translates as miracle, and it is a miracle serum, making a person super strong and practically immortal, being able to heal from almost any injury. Unfortunately, it also has a side effect of turning a person completely insane and psychotic. Now, originally, Oliver and Deathstroke were friends, and Deathstroke was actually the one who taught him how to fight in the first place. But unfortunately, the formula warped his mind, and as such, Deathstroke turns on Oliver. He kills his girlfriend, and then intends to kill his sister and his mother. Now, at this point when he's making this threat, Oliver actually has a serum that will counter the Mirakuru formula and turn Deathstroke back into a normal human being. But in the moment, Oliver decides to just kill Deathstroke instead, in order to protect his family, and so he stabs him with an arrow through his eye and into his brain, killing him. Also, he fought. The Mirakuru formula was able to heal Deathstroke and bring him back to the world of the living, though it was unable to restore his damaged eye. The God-Killer Sacrifice. Now, in this comic book story, Deathstroke takes a contract to kill a Titan named Iapetus. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm not, apologies. Now, this contract is put up by the god Hephaestus, and he gives Deathstroke the God-Killer Sword, which does exactly what it was named to do, and Deathstroke is able to use it to kill the Titan just fine. But when the mission is done, he has to return the sword to Hephaestus, at which point Hephaestus informs him that he now has to give a blood sacrifice, something he didn't mention beforehand, as he felt that if Deathstroke knew this, he probably wouldn't take the job. Now, this sacrifice is to the other gods. Because he has killed a god, he must offer a blood sacrifice. And since Deathstroke doesn't want to offer up any of his children, he instead rips out his own eye as a sacrifice. Now, I should mention at this point that Deathstroke actually has two eyes, and is also young again. He did lose one eye before when his wife shot him, but since then he has managed to get it healed, though it was only recently healed when he took out this God-Killer contract. So after years of waiting for his eye to be healed, Deathstroke then had to stab it out anyway, which is really bad for him, though most likely it only happened because the writers were just trying to get Deathstroke back to his classic look, as fans weren't very happy with the whole two eyes and young again thing. And speaking for myself, I thought this was kind of a stupid moment in the Deathstroke mythos. But the end result was that he only had one eye left at the end of this. And that is all the different ways that Deathstroke has lost his eye over the years. Personally, I think my favourite is the Arrow version, as the story arc of Deathstroke returning to Star City was amazing to watch. I must admit the reason for him losing the eye wasn't that fantastic, it did seem a little forced, but the story itself was brilliant. And next to the animated Teen Titans version of Deathstroke, I'd say that Arrow is my favourite version of Deathstroke in media. Though hopefully the new DC film will do the character justice. Though considering the quality of the most recent DC films, well, Arrow may end up being the best version we get, but here's hoping the Deathstroke film will be good. But what is your favourite way that Deathstroke lost his eye? And are there any other ways that he's lost it over the years that you think should have been on this list? Feel free to let us know in the comments, and I'd just like to say a quick thank you to those who made this video possible by donating to the Needlemass Productions page on Patreon. And as always, thanks for watching, and feel free to subscribe, share, like, and comment.